Hey, what's going on? This is Wayne here at the Lock Shop, and we are checking out how to do a professional repair on a unprofessional opening. Basically, we have an original opening that was discovered after we took everything apart, and then a client that used a different person and kind of made a big mess out of things and drilled these big gigantic holes in here to this safe. So you can see what we had going on. We have all this here and a relocker here, and here is our original repair from a while ago there, where somebody did a bolt punch. So basically what I'm going to show you today is how to professionally repair this. That oval shaped hole is not going to be able to be repaired by your typical taper pin or taper ball bearing. There was no hard plate in this, so we don't have to worry about that. We don't have to worry about it being graded as a hardened material. All we got to do is really worry about this. So I'm going to show you how to weld this up. It was a lot easier for me to just take this safe home, get it on my welder, and go ahead and check this out. I'm going to try and get some video with it of me actually welding through this welding helmet right here. I don't know how well that's going to turn out, but we're going to try it. A couple of things for prep. You want to make sure that you grind off paint and paper in a fairly large area around the work area here. So that's what I've already done for prep there. I'm going to be running a Lincoln electric welder. I'm going to be running at about 5 on the wire speed and D on the voltage, which is going to be the hottest setting. Over here we're going to be running what is it, 23 wire is what we're going to be running there. So check it out and let's see if we can go ahead. Basically what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and start filling this in from the middle and then fill it out towards this way and then do the exact opposite on the other side to get a nice filling, and then we'll go ahead and grind it flat again. So let's see if this is going to stay. Hopefully it does. Let's see if my hand is... Okay, so hopefully the camera will pick it up through there. If not, I apologize. I'm not exactly set up to weld on camera, but we're just trying this out off the cuff here. Alright, so make sure that we've got a good ground. We're also, one more thing is we're using MIG welding with the gas. So because we're going to be filling everything in, we want to make sure that you don't use like a stick welder or something where you're going to have slag, because every time you stop, you're going to have to bust that slag off of there, and that's not going to be good. So we'll go over that a little bit more here shortly. Let's see if we can just beat this thing up. Okay, so what I'm doing here, is just starting to build this up and kind of web it together. We'll do a tack over here, a tack over here, a tack over here, and you're like starting little droplets like a spider web. Once that gets filled in, then we'll run a bead over the top of it, and then we'll really start filling it in heavily on the back side. So we'll check that out. I don't know if this is gonna work or not because I can't get the right angle I need on this. I also need to be able to take a picture from time to time for the article. If that'll work. Probably not. Okay. I don't know if the welder's gonna be, if the welding helmet's gonna work or not, but we'll just go ahead and. Okay, so that's going to be the outside here. We'll take a look and see what that looks like. You can see that it's higher, but that's okay. We're going to grind that off. It's better to be a little bit higher than not. Probably. So let's take a quick photo. And then we're going to go ahead and get this one over here too. So some basic welding skills can really you know, save you some time and money, so you don't have to take this to a professional welding shop and pay them $80 or $100 an hour or whatever they charge. You can be making that money on your own. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in that ball bearing right there. Then we'll move on to the other stuff. Okay, so we've got our ball bearing area filled in. Just have a picture of that. Then we're going to work on the big hole. Once you have the backside filled in, it's fairly easy to get going here. You can see that. Snap a picture. And then I'm just going to fill this in the rest of the way. Breaker. Go ahead and take a picture. See what that's starting to look like. Tie it into the top here. because I don't want to grind too much in here, I'm going to call that good. That's going to be better because it's actually filling the gap in here than it was from factory originally. So we're just going to call that good. Some of that stuff off of there. Grab a picture. Ah, of course I didn't grab my picture right. Then we'll go ahead and fill in the hole for the relocker here. Best way to hold this back is going to be to push it down. So, then grab onto it with a pair of vice grips. So that's going to hold that down, and then we're going to be able to weld in that little hole right in there. And it shouldn't take too much to fill that up. Just make sure that we don't get any splatter or anything on the linkage here, and we should be pretty good. Basically, when I'm doing those big fill-ins, I'm trying to run the wire fairly quick, and you can see how that turned out right there. And then with this one, you can see I kind of go back and forth, and then I'll go back and forth this way. So we're making lines this way, and we're making lines this way until it gets filled up, and then you just kind of tap it in where you need. As long as you keep that good and hot, it'll sink down and lay flat, and you won't have as much to grind off later. So that one's not going to be bothering any linkage, so I don't really need to get in there and grind too much. This one, I need to grind a little bit off of here. Okay, so that's going to be looking plenty good enough for me right there. Got a little crack in there, but trust me, it's still way better than it was from factory. So, grind it all flat, flip it over, grind the front flat, and then we should be done. So that probably takes, that was 15 minutes to repair this. And that is how 15 minutes and a little bit of metal fabrication knowledge can turn that into that. We'll go ahead and snap a picture. We'll get it painted up, and nobody will really hardly ever be able to tell that this was worked on before. That's how we fix it right. We clean up other people's messes, do the job properly. Everybody that takes pride in their work, this is the way it should be done. If it's just a single hole and you're doing it, of course you can always use your taper pins. It's good to weld those too, or if you have any kind of hard plate or security plate, you need to use the GSA certified ones, carbide or hardened inserts, or I like to use these hardened things like these here, these bearings. So, for more information, check out the website below.